Naziah Harris was failed. Let's normalize not calling a child fast or too grown. They've been groomed and manipulated. Hey, it's Name Uplifting Others. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, hey, Uplifters. I want to talk about Naziah Harris. A lot of talk has been going on about this case, and I feel obligated to talk about her. A lot of times, the Black families like to push things under the rug. They like to turn a blind eye, or they want to blame the victim of SA for what has happened to them. In this case, I feel like Naziah's grandmother and aunt failed her. They were in the same house as her, and they either ignored the signs, they knew about it and didn't want to do anything, or they were oblivious. But I want to read this article before I really get into it. A Detroit man charged in the murder of missing 13-year-old Naziah Harris appeared in court on Friday morning. This today. A not guilty plea was entered on behalf of Jarvis Butts, a 42-year-old man charged with first-degree premeditated murder, second-degree criminal sexual conduct, and child SA activity. Butts is accused of having an inappropriate relationship with Naziah, who was last seen getting off her school bus at the corner of Cornwall and 3 Mile Drive in Detroit on January 9th, 2024. Her body has never been found. Butts also has been charged with SA of 2 other girls in separate cases. So he's a known predator. The judge that heard the preliminary hearing, she had a lot to say, and I applaud her. She said, "You're the monster in this whole picture," Sabri told Butts in court last week. She was referring to Naziah, did deserve love from her parents and everyone who was in her life. She was ignored, she was neglected, and you took complete advantage of that. She wanted someone to love her, and she will never know what that feels like. I pray for the healing of all the victims and the young girls and possibly boys who come into contact with you. It was like a little part of the article. I didn't want to read everything. But just a little background on Naziah Harris. She lived with her grandmother. Her grandmother took custody of her when she was younger. And she lived in a house with her grandmother, her grandmother's 2 kids, her brother, her aunt, Shannon, which is Jarvis's baby mother, and her 5 kids. Naziah, I guess her parents weren't in her life. I mean, I'm not going to get into that because I don't know the facts, so I'm going to leave that one alone. But she was supposed to be taken care of by her grandmother. That was her caregiver. That was her guardian. That was the one that was supposed to protect her and make sure that she was fine. Naziah Harris was last seen on January 9th, 2024 with Jarvis Butts. I watched the pre-trial of everything. I heard the text messages, and Jarvis really took advantage of Naziah. He groomed her. He manipulated her. This case, like any other case, it hits home because, for those that know, I am a survivor of childhood incest, SA. And my uncle hurt me in the worst way. And if the things didn't happen the way they did, would he have continued to hurt me? Would he have groomed me? Would he have made me feel like it was okay? Like, those things, I ask myself that not often, but sometimes, especially during a case like this. She was groomed, she was manipulated, and she thought that she was in love with this man because of the things that he told her, that he probably promised her, and she wanted love, and she was looking for love in all the wrong places. Sometimes people use the word as a little girl's being fast and she's being too grown. But what made her that way? What makes a child that has a normal life, that hasn't been abused, be fast or too grown? A lot of times, and this happens, where someone takes advantage of them and they manipulate them and they groom them to be overly sexual. I'm not saying that something didn't happen before Jarvis when it comes on to Neziah, but in a lot of cases is that one person, that one predator that knows exactly what to do to manipulate and to groom a child. She deserved better than what she got. And I guess her aunt had did a podcast and somebody asked her a question like, why was you with Jarvis? Why was you with Jarvis knowing that he is on the S offenders list? And she was like, well, don't society give people like that a second chance, or why shouldn't I give him a second chance? And they also asked her like, did you know something about like knowing about what he was doing or something like that? So I forgot word for word, but she was like, that's Jarvis, it's not me, or something like that. Like, I don't have nothing to do with what he be doing. So you know that he's a predator. You know what he is capable of doing. You know what he is doing, in my opinion, allegedly. So you allow him to do that. You allow him to be around your kids, your nieces, and everybody else, knowing what he's capable of doing. What that makes you? A predator. Just because you don't act on things, just because you don't do stuff yourself, but being a bystander and knowing what someone is doing, you are a part of the problem. And the fact that Jarvis's business partner was like, he was in the vehicle when Jarvis picked up his niece, Neziah. He was in a car. They were working on a car when Neziah was in Jarvis's truck, just chilling, waiting for him to stop working, I'm guessing. And the business partner asked, when you gonna drop her off? And said he wasn't. So in my mind, like, why wouldn't you ask why? Why wouldn't you ask those questions that you wouldn't, that anybody should be asking? Like, why are you with a little girl? And I'm pretty sure his business partner knew that he was a known predator as well. A lot of times these people, like the business partner, the aunt, the grandmother, they're a part of the bigger problem by allowing their kids to be around predators. I'm not saying that he knew about it. I'm not saying that he was a part of it. It's just the fact that, I mean, because I guess I'm coming from a place of knowing how predators do. And me being a survivor myself, I guess I know the signs, and it would make me be like, what the heck is going on? Everybody is not as aware as the next person. So I'm not going to say that. It's just the fact that a lot of people seen, but they was either oblivious or they turned a blind eye. The text messages were so like disgusting. And the fact that she really thought like that was her man. And I don't know. It angers me to know that so many people are bystanders to a lot of situations. Neziah was failed. The other victims of his were failed. And every child that has been put in a situation to be around a predator was failed and are still being failed. We want to give people second chances. We want to not think that someone can't change. We want to think these things about these predators, but at the end of the day, we don't know. So we don't know what someone is capable of doing, but they're a known predator. How about protect the kids? Doesn't matter if it's your kid, the next door neighbor's kid. Protect kids. Jarvis is a monster. Then he said spend the rest of his life behind bars. But if he wasn't allowed a second chance, Neziah would still be here. And that's why I'm so big on predators should spend the rest of their lives in prison. And that might sound harsh to some. But the fact of you ruining someone's life for the rest of their life, and they have to learn how to live again, how to heal from their trauma, predators should spend the rest of their lives behind bars. So they won't have another opportunity to hurt and to prey on another child or another adult even. It sucks that Naziah Harris had to be made an example out of, in a sense. But are we really going to listen? Are we really going to pay attention to our kids? Are we going to not turn a blind eye? Are we going to step up? Are we going to protect the kids? That is the biggest thing. We can know the signs, we can want to help, but are we going to? I pray for her family, the ones that actually loved and cared about her and didn't know what was going on. I pray for the other victim of Jarvis. I pray for every victim of childhood SA and every victim of SA, period. Do we have to keep going through the same thing to change our mindset? I pray that Naziah's body is found and she can have a proper burial. Are your eyes open yet? Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe.